right. Hi, Mo. If you guys don't know, I've had Mo on before. He was, I think, one of my subscribers, and then we just started chatting, and we did a really cool interview about a lot of things about toxic influencers, and so we're just gonna have another chat. I have no idea what we're gonna even talk about. I know, Mo, you have some questions prepared, but I love chatting with you, so I'm sure it'll be another good chat. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me again. It's been a while, but yeah, that last video was great. So yeah, when I
Oh,
do
well.
one more again, and I have some good questions and a topic prepared. So yeah, it might be. I think it would be valuable for the viewers for sure. So yeah,
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right in.
cool. So you were sending me a screenshot, or you did a couple of months ago, a
Yeah.
video about the lizard whiz, and I guess that's how we like started chatting as well.
Hmm.
And there's a comment, like a specific comment that you pointed out, and I want to read it.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that comment is interesting. She says, "Heavy on, something clicked in me. I'm very unfortunately in what I call marriage husband fever phase right now, and hearing about it, cheating on the most intelligent, confident, kind, and beautiful woman whose advice improved the lives of so many people so much, gave me the very sad yet necessary reality check. I still believe that good men are out there. They're just out there, just like there are good women. However, this definitely makes it so much harder to believe, and there's unfortunately little to nothing we can do to prevent this." So the topic will be limiting beliefs, I guess, and she puts a lot of limitations on herself.
Absolutely. And that is one well, there's so much there because in my opinion, when someone, like everyone is living their life, we're all trying to learn from our mistakes, right? So Liz is teaching a lot of things and preaching a lot of things that she's not actually practicing. And I think that this whole thing that happened with her boyfriend and that she got pregnant with, and like, it's all of like, it just shows like how unhealed she is, which is fine. But it's kind of like, just say that and say like what's really going on. But what's interesting is that some people, they'll just they identify with being a fan of something or someone, and it's like they can do no wrong. And I mean, people do this with like their political identity or a lot of things, and it's like, I can just, it doesn't matter, like. And it's kind of like you can get into a really toxic mentality when maybe you follow someone, they had a certain facade, and then they kind of prove themselves wrong. You don't adjust your thinking at all. And it's like, okay, she's still the most intelligent, whatever woman. Like, I don't think her, and I would say it. I would say it. I'm like, if I thought her advice was good, I don't think most of it is good, but some people are just like under that influence. But then also to say, because Liz, who's very unhealed, got cheated on by this toxic relationship that she saw all the red flags and chose to ignore because Liz got cheated on. And you're like idealizing Liz for some reason, that like all men or most relationships are like this. And she, in that comment, she does say, I do think that there are good men and women. And you know what? Your world, like what you experience, is your belief system and your limiting beliefs, whatever you believe, pushed out in your primary feelings. It's all that pushed out. It's just a reflection. Your world is just a reflection of that. So that's what I see from that comment. But yeah, I do think that there's a lot of opportunity to be like, okay, well, Liz has healing to do. And maybe that's what it's really about. Not being any good men in the world.
Yeah, I don't believe when she says there's still good women out there. Like her belief system is good men out there. Her belief system is fucked up, like from so
Hmm.
many people. And
Hmm.
yeah, Liz has some god complex. I think that's like narcissistic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume. And people that worship celebrities or like influencers or whatever it is, I guess they're low IQ and there's nothing mostly that you can do. I would assume. Yeah, maybe you
Hmm.
can correct me. Um,
There has
yeah,
been a correlation between people that worship celebrities, like really idealize celebrities, and having a lower IQ. That's been kind of
yeah,
proven.
and identity issues, right? They have their own identity issues as well. I think we
Hmm.
talked about it last time. And whatever they do, even if they do many wrong things,
Yeah.
they're always the victim. It's not their fault. And also, like with Sadia Khan, like the scandal recently, there was so much now proven, and
Hmm.
still there's people behind her, which is like totally weird. why do you think people still hold on to them despite all the scandals and yeah, all the scams
And we,
and all the
yeah,
mistakes?
great question. And we see this in a lot of people. We see this in like President Trump. We see it with Liz,
Yeah.
and a lot of people. But what I think people cling on to, or people like really like about these type of people, is that they are so confident. Confidence is a drug. It is a drug that humans love. So when they see someone just exuding so much confidence, like over the top confidence, like I'm just gonna pretend like that thing didn't happen type of thing, people, a lot of people lack that in their life and they really admire that. So it's kind of like, oh, this person can do no wrong. I'm going to attach to this strength and this power of like confidence that this person has. And then also sometimes people don't like to be wrong. So they'll like idealize someone, they'll be a fan of someone. And then if someone has like presenting information that is, or no, contrasting information, then they become like, oh, well, yeah, that didn't happen. Or, just like really defending the person that they don't even know. They're like over identifying with this person that they've idealized. And
Yeah.
so that's why that happens. And then, I do think Sadia, like when I saw the thing of her, when she finally went back online after the scandal was, that recording was exposed. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, she, like a recording was leaked of her saying that she was like the mistress to this billionaire, and I don't know who called who, but anyway, they're on the phone talking, and he's like, "I'll suck your husband's dick anytime," da da da, like vulgar, the opposite of high value, which is what she is promoting, right? And so she just comes back online and says, "Oh, there've been rumors about me." Ma'am, those were not rumors. That was hard evidence of you being a side chick and liking it. And, like, here's my thing. If she just owned it, like, you could have a very profitable business, I'm sure, like, being like, just be like the queen of side chicks and like do all of that, like, type of thing, like, just own it. But the fact that she's going to come back after all this evidence has been presented and then say some rumors were going on about me, and then like she even did that interview, I'm forgetting their ABBA, which interview I'm talking about that
Yeah.
went
She
viral,
fell for the
where
trap.
she fell for their trap and then got exposed even more, like on like in an interview, a podcast interview, and then she's still going to act like, well, that didn't happen. I mean, that's just like a new level of I mean, some of that's kind of even sociopathic, but yeah, and there are people that are just going to defend her, so
This is weird, man. These types of people that build huge audiences, right? The ones that are narcissistic, um, that are hurt, I guess, or psychopath tendencies. It's kind of
yeah.
weird. They have always huge audiences, and I can't trust these podcasts, these big podcasts anymore. They have no clue in like letting people and know who's right or not. It's just so weird.
Yeah,
Like
I
all
don't
these
even
big
watch
self
it
improvement
anymore.
podcasts, yeah, they
Yeah.
just do it for the views at the end. They just do it for the views and what
Mhm.
works the most. They don't care about the people, and especially with self improvement, it's so dangerous. I mean, most people do it for the obvious reason because they want to improve, but they start from a point where they have low self esteem and they're hurt and then damaged, and it's
Mhm.
easy to fall for these types of people.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think I've talked about this before, that it kind of really it has annoyed me in the past. I don't really give it energy anymore, but especially when I started to do social media, um, I would see these people in the self-improvement space literally like they don't even know what they're talking about. And what also upsets me is, like, I'm obviously a smaller creator compared to other people, and I've never bought a follower or anything like that, and they'll just like take my script or my content, like I'm talking about something and then claim it as their own. I remember I saw this on TikTok recently. I talk about JADE, which is like, don't go into JADE, justify, argue, defend, explain, or even engage with like toxic people. And it's just a way for you to remember it, JADE. And this woman, like, and I could see that she's following me and like saving all of my things on TikTok. And I'm like, dude, that's literally my script. You literally took my video, and and so, and then acting like, oh yes, I'm just this, very wise, whatever. I'm like, bitch, no, you're not. But I mean, great that you created a following on TikTok with my information. But so yeah, it is kind of, I think what's important is like, it should resonate with you. If something resonates with you, fine. if you're on any type of platform looking for self-help, you're obviously in a vulnerable position. Like you want to improve something, and you might even
Yeah.
be like in a really like desperate energy. So I just don't like when people get taken advantage of in that way, when you're just really like down. And I've had that happen where I'm like, oh yeah, this person seems, and then I'm like, actually this is really toxic, so never mind. But there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah, but good that you say this, because when you watch Liz's advice about manifestation, you can
Mhm.
clearly tell that it's not going that deep and that she has no clue herself. It's just
Yeah.
stolen advice from other videos and just repeating it. And this
Yeah.
is what most of them do. They just have the charisma and the speaking skills. They just have no clue maybe what they're saying, or maybe they think they have ideas or know what's up. But yeah,
Uh,
what they do actually is just repeating other stuff and taking notes from other videos and just putting it out there themselves.
It does. Her stuff does seem like that, especially the manifestation stuff, like you said, and
Yeah,
even the relationship advice that
all
she
of it.
gives. It seems like I'm like, what do you? It just doesn't land. And then also, what was I going to say about that? She she is one of these people, and I kind of, especially when I was starting out, I kind of envy this quality, but just loves to hear herself talk, like almost like it's an addiction, like just getting in front of her laptop and just like spouting off nothing for probably like hours, right? And just talking and talking about nothing. And I have a thing where I'm like, okay, when I, especially if I'm recording a YouTube video, for like long form, not the shorts, but I mean for all of it. Anytime I record any piece of content, actually, I'm like, okay, I really want the most value I can give this person watching on the other side of the screen in like the shortest amount of time, because it's like time is so valuable. Like I'm like, that is my forefront thought. And like sometimes I'll write down what I'm going to say to really think about it, because it's kind of like, I respect your time. If you're watching me, I'm like honored
Yeah,
that you're giving me some of your time. But I think that, like, and there's a lot to be said about that, is like, just really believing in yourself and thinking you're amazing. I have videos about that. I'm like, you're the shit. So you like own it, like really own it. But I think it's coming
yeah,
from a toxic, like entitled place. And I've said this before. I don't like her demeanor, because it seems like she's like yelling at people. It just seems like she has so much unresolved anger that's just right beneath the surface. And I mean, I used to be a personality profiler, so I could pick up on those things, but I don't think I think it's obvious to a lot of people. I mean, obviously it's not obvious to everyone, but yeah, that stuff is like, it's just cringy to me. I don't know.
yeah. And then still most people fall for it, and they 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 say always it changed their life to the better. It's so weird, right? I'm like thinking that how deep, how low were you before? So weird, and they
And
can't go off it. It's like, I don't know, like that type of person that you are. Let's say you have low self esteem, you have a lot of trauma, and
mhm.
the stuff that you resonate with is kind of dangerous. You kind of can't trust yourself. It's kind of hard to improve from that low point, really. You know,
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And like, I do think that you can. I mean, that's what I do for a living, right? Is like you can
yeah,
be at a really low point. And I often think, even though it's very uncomfortable, that being at rock bottom and being like in the depths of despair can be like low key the best thing that ever happened to you, because now you have like the inspiration, and like, I call it a slingshot moment. Like you're so far behind and you're like, fuck this, I can't do this anymore. And it actually gives you an opportunity to elevate your standards, because we're always going to fall or default to our baseline standards. So if it's like, you know what, I'm never going to allow myself to be treated like this again. I'm never going to get myself in this type of financial thing, or like with career relationships. Then you don't settle for things anymore. So it can
hmm,
be really good. You just want to like attract the right type of help. But also sometimes the process is attracting help that's kind of like toxic. I mean, I've had
yeah,
toxic therapists before, and it taught me lessons. So,
hmm,
but yeah, I mean, so it's all part of the healing process, but just keep going on the healing process. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your evolution.
yeah. I have a real life story of myself. I want to ask you something. I didn't
Yeah.
prepare the question because it's a real life story around
Yeah.
limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, it's kind of funny. 2 years ago, I lived in the Philippines. I'm a freelancer, so I can
Hmm.
travel. I lived in the Philippines. after a couple of months, I had some issues with the business. It went down, and I was sitting there on my last couple of days in the Philippines, and I was like, why is it that I failed and I have to go back, and others like around me, my friends or other people, can stay here and live this amazing life. And I understood at that point that I have limiting beliefs, and I wasn't aware of the mistakes that I did, because the limiting beliefs were holding me back. That was an issue. Like I went from the best times of my life, like to one of the worst, because I was more isolated in Germany, and I was trying things out, many things in the beginning. That was tough because it was also a financial struggle. So I had limiting beliefs around success and money. Yeah. And funny, like I was going back September 2023, back home to Germany. September 2025, like the same, I think this like 28th September or so, the same day, I went now to Mexico. So I'm in Mexico right now. I mean, you know that. But it's kind of funny, like 2 years later, I guess it worked. I did something, I worked on myself. I did a lot of things. There's a reason why I'm here, I guess. But let's look back like 2 years ago. What would you say to that version of myself back then that was like, man, why is it that I failed? Why is it that I have to go back and others can still enjoy this life? And I wasn't even aware of those limiting beliefs until I was hitting rock bottom. And then that's tough. And I'm still paranoid, because I'm always like, okay, what is it that I'm not aware of now? Do I need to hit rock bottom again? Like you have all these like thoughts in your head as well. But yeah, what would you say to myself like 2 years ago?
Well, there's a couple things that immediately come up for me. Is the first thing is like the most successful people fail the most. I don't know any successful person that doesn't talk about that. So it's not about like, so sometimes we get into the, when an outcome doesn't go our way or we're calling it failure, it's kind of like, what did I learn about myself? In every like relationship that ends, any quote unquote failure or anything like where the outcome wasn't exactly what you wanted, it's what did I learn about myself and what can I improve? And then a lot of the stuff about, okay, why did this person succeed and maybe why am I here, is it's an opportunity to shift your self-concept. So somewhere in there, it's either subconscious or unconscious, but either way, like if you have an outcome, whatever the outcome is, it's like, I don't like this outcome. Somewhere in your belief system, whether it's conscious or not, like you think that about yourself. So let's say you like, okay, about feeling, right? So maybe there was a part of that version of yourself that's like, oh, I don't know if I could really succeed, maybe temporarily, but then I think like I don't have what it takes to like, I don't know, thrive in the way that I want to, or that to have like this level of, it just seems so far away. And that's why a lot of manifestation stuff is about like, just be delusional. You don't have to know the how, because really things come, and like every successful person also says that they're like, I don't know, I just kind of got lucky, or it just feels like that, because you have to, if you are leveling up in some way, things aren't going to happen at this level of consciousness that they were happening. They're going to happen in a different way, and it's going to seem easier and kind of miraculous. So yeah, there's an opportunity to be like, okay, well, success comes to me easily. I'm super talented and my clients love hiring me. So of course I'm going to always like be in demand and have a waiting list or whatever it is. And like thinking that way. And that is how people succeed in life. And it really, the thing that kind of, it doesn't suck, but it's kind of, it's really, when you really realize how true this is, that it's really not about your skill set. You do not, like, it is about what you think about yourself. And I will always use this example because I always think that it is such a good example. Like Kim Kardashian, right? The woman has no skills. She's basically a porn star, right? She sold her sex tape for money. Like that's a porn star, right? So
Yeah.
she's a porn star, and I haven't watched it, but I heard that she's not even a very good porn star. So like the skill, the limiting the amount, but she just believes that people should watch her, and like she's not that interesting. There's nothing, like she's not funny, like she's not like, but she has a belief, a true belief that you should give her your most
Like
valuable
it's
thing, which is your time, and watch her with like, eat salad with her mouth open and breathe through her mouth, because she's
yeah.
and like talk about nothing with her sisters, and people do it because that is her belief. So like I really think that Kim Kardashian is like an NPC in our lives to teach us that you just need to think about like highly of yourself and think confident you could have anything that you want if you just believe that you're entitled to it. That's it.
The thing is, before I went to the Philippines, I was like the same. Like I now made it, I can do it, and I was positive. Yeah, but I guess there was something that I wasn't aware of, and that's an issue. Maybe I wasn't like super optimistic or super positive, but I was optimistic. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone to the Philippines. But the thing is, like I wasn't even aware of, I guess, that the trauma, the limiting beliefs that I have, unless I hit rock bottom. You know. But and when I went back home, like I was trying different things out. But what I was working on mainly is to build knowledge and competence, so I can rely on that and be confident about that. You know, so kind of to battle my limiting beliefs. So I'm different compared to 2 years ago. Not where I want to be, but I guess what I did to battle my limiting beliefs was just learning and building competence. And yeah, what would you do, or what do you suggest to overcome limiting beliefs and work on them?
I think the biggest thing to do and the thing that could override like any type of limiting beliefs, whether you're aware of them or not. So this works if you have subconscious or unconscious limiting beliefs, is to completely shift your self-concept. So it's kind of like, I am the most competent person. I am the, lead in my industry. I always have X amount of dollars in my bank account, and just flood your mind with that. You're literally creating new neural pathways in your brain and new feedback loops. And when you actually believe those things, and that is your baseline, like feedback loops, the world will reflect that back to you. Like you'll just, it will seem like effortless. Then the clients will line up, the money, the relationships, the health, whatever it is, if you say that about yourself, and then like the habits will just fall into place. So that is why, and there's a really good book called Psycho-Cybernetics that's about this, about
Yeah, I know that.
self-concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a really good example of, if you can shift your self-concept, then that is going to make everything fall into place. So I would just say, and this is what especially with my private clients, my one-on-one clients, we just do this all the time, like change your self-concept, because whatever you're giving energy to, you're giving life to. So if it's like, oh my God, I'm worried I'm going to have a bad month in my business. Or you could be like, hey, I am deciding, and I know that this is going to be the best month I've had in my business in history. Like, that's it. There's no other. So it has to, like, because you're giving that thing life. So it's really tempting to fall back into giving so much energy to what we fear. But if you focus on the outcome that you want and embody it like you already have it, and really form your identity around that, it will fall into place. I promise you.
Okay. But where do you think limiting beliefs come from? Is it like childhood or the
Oh yeah,
culture? Yeah.
both, like childhood and culture. So when we, actually up until 30, our brains are being formed completely. So especially during that time, but especially from ages like 0 to 10, our brains are they're just absorbing everything. You know that if you've been around a kid, they're just like, people are just like, oh my God, that kid's so smart. No, your brain is just like on fire, like making all these new neural connections. So it's going to learn everything. So even if your parents are like, oh, we never talked about that in front of you, like kids can feel certain things, like if there's stress in the home. And then also limiting beliefs around, and they could come from religious things. Like I've worked with a lot of Mormon and ex-Mormon clients that, I would consider religious abuse from what they were told about themselves. And if they don't do this, that, and the other, then God hates them, and just like very extreme things. And then they can't tell anyone about it. Like that's not Mormon. So it does create a lot of damage. It can be undone, by the way. Any type of limiting belief that you don't want can be undone, and quickly. But yes, they come from childhood. They come from your parent or whoever your caretaker was. If they have unresolved trauma or abuse, they can pass it on to, their kids. And it just gets unchecked until, whichever generation decides, I don't want to think like this anymore. So yeah.
Okay, so when we look back at the comment of the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
like basically she had that comment of the woman, she had negative limiting beliefs about men, and Liz just confirmed her reality, I would assume.
Yeah, and like
That's how it
also,
works, yeah.
her husband fever thing.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
the
don't
Hindi.
know for sure. Yeah, I don't know for sure. And like I do want to say it could be like our nervous systems are set up for connection and intimacy. So maybe she's just wanting more of that in her life. But sometimes when I hear the term husband fever, it seems like it's often attached to like I have to do, like everyone around me is getting married and my identity and my self-esteem is based on like
Hmm.
getting a husband
Yeah.
as fast as I can. So, just when you have those thoughts come up, like I need to be married, I need to be in a relationship, like why? Why is that kind of chasing energy around that? How about like I want to be in a really healthy, fulfilling, supportive relationship and here's what I want it to look like. That's a good way to attract a healthy relationship. But to be like, I have husband fever, it's like it needs to happen now is never gonna lead to, you're not gonna attract the right thing.
Good that you say this. When I compare to men's self-improvement spaces, it's like you need to make money, you need to become successful, and it feels like you attach all your self-worth to money and you start panicking, you know, like you're broke and you need to make money and you come from a place of lacking. Yeah, good that you say this. It's interesting. They
Why
do the
does
same to us.
why does he say that? I'm not familiar with his messaging. So it's like you need to make money. Why?
I mean,
So like girls will like you or what?
that's in most of self-improvement spaces of men. It's like you need to make the money to yeah, get the right woman, whatever, be successful in life overall. You need to be the provider. Obviously, it makes sense, but the messaging is a bit wrong. It
Mm.
stresses you. It makes you like desperate. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, I see. Because I mean, the thing is, I do think that like if you're the masculine energy in a relationship, whether you're gay, straight, whatever, like if you're the masculine, yeah, masculine energy is provider, protector energy, and then female energy or what, like, yeah, the woman or the female energy in the relationship brings is like nurturing, creating like a home. There's like different things like masculine and feminine energy
Yeah.
do. Um, and I see a lot of unhappiness like with my clients when the woman's like trying to be too masculine, like boss the guy around or like emasculate him or things like that. Or when the guy isn't like feeling like he could be a good provider and protector, but like wants to have a family or whatever, like, or has a family. So it's just, there's a balance of that. But if it's like this chest beating, like, yeah, I got to make money and like to flex on, like that stuff is so toxic and weird. Like Andrew, like, I don't know what Andrew Tate's content like is now, but I felt like a lot of it, or like that what's his name? Dan Lazarian or something like that.
And Brazilian, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, which it was all fake, right? We know now, but like it's like, yeah, I'm like so rich and I have all these bitches, and it's like that's the opposite of like masculine energy to me. It's
Yeah.
more like I make money because I'm a good provider, and I create stability for myself and my woman and my home. Like, great, then do that. Like, that's fine. But like to just, I don't know, for a facade or to like, sleep with a bunch of women, I'm like, okay, that's kind of pathetic in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the messaging is wrong.
Hmm.
We have to start from a point of already like being happy, and then
Yeah.
feeling fulfilled. That's how you, I guess, attract more of it instead of being stressed.
Yeah, and like also, if you have a purpose, like that's your North Star. And it could be like sometimes I say that and it's like, "Oh my God, I don't know, that sounds so big." No, it's like, what do you love? Like how do you like to show up in the world and bring value
Yeah.
to the world? It could be anything. Like you have a skill set that is helpful to someone, and it's something that you like. If it is giving inspiring messages, if it is, it could be anything. It could be like crocheting sweaters for kittens. I don't know. Like, I don't, it could be anything. And you sell it on Etsy. I don't know. But like, you do have something. Everyone has something where they're bringing, value. And if you're connected to your purpose, like, a lot of these things will fall into place.
Okay. So yeah, basically on limiting beliefs is just consistent daily work, I guess. Yeah. That's what you
It's
said, like
consistent.
positive self-talk.
Yeah, and
I guess Joe Dispenza is good for that. I learned a lot from Joe Dispenza.
yes, Joe
Yeah.
Dispenza is amazing. If you're not familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza, I would definitely look into any of his books. And they're all kind of what we're talking about right now is like what you give your energy to and your mind to will literally create your identity. And he got in a really bad like bicycle accident. He was like paralyzed and all this stuff. And he was like, okay, some level of consciousness that made this problem can also solve this problem is what he, and the doctors weren't very hopeful, but in his mind he rehearsed like his spine healing and everything healing, and then they're like, oh my god, it's a miracle. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna make it my life's purpose to teach people this now. And before that, I think he was just like a chiropractor, not just a chiropractor, but that he was a chiropractor. And then it was like, no, this is the bigger purpose. I need to teach people how powerful their mind is. And like, you can literally change your life quickly by using your mind properly.
Yeah, but what I now heard mainly of you is more like the affirmations and a positive self-talk that you have to do, yeah, to overcome it. That's the main
Well,
thing that you say.
absolutely. Because think about how much self-talk you have on a daily basis.
That's your
So
identity speaking to you, right?
yeah, you want that messaging to be good. And when it's not, so a technique I have my clients do is like, hey, you know that inner critic or that inner saboteur that's trying to sabotage you all the time, that's saying like, this isn't going to work out, you suck, whatever. Take that person and make them another identity. So name them a name that like a name you don't like, and be like, hey, I don't know why you're talking. Like mine is Lacey. So I'm like, Lacey is trying to shit talk me and gaslight me and all this stuff right now. And I'm not having it. And that's not me, because the person I know I am like has a message and like loves helping people. And so I'm just going to like quiet Lacey down right now, because otherwise if she runs the show, like, like everything will not go well. So
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, let's do the last question because we're already above 30 minutes. That the
yeah.
time went by fast, Lauren. It feels like 5 minutes.
I know. Another great talk. And like, if you're watching this and you have other questions that you want us to talk about, definitely I'll link it in the description, that our first chat that we had, but definitely check that out if you haven't. And yeah, we just have like really good conversations about, influencers and different things like that, forms of different parts of psychology. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you for watching. And don't forget to follow Mo I'll put your channel in the description as well.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Thanks. Yeah. Just to end it, what would you say to this woman in the comment, like the comment that we talked about in the beginning? What would you tell her about her negative beliefs with the man? And then
I
Liz, portrayed it.
That's a great question. And I would say, and you could apply this to any area of your life,
Yeah.
is to move from a place of scarcity to a place of good abundance. So it's like, no, good men aren't hard to find. And I don't have to have this desperate like husband fever, because I'm such an amazing woman. And there's a ton of guys that would just love to date me, like thinking like that from a place of abundance and getting out of scarcity. I believe scarcity is not real, and that it is used to manipulate and control people. And it works like in sales, like, limited time, all the things. It's like our brains are wired to like respond to scarcity, because it's like back in the day, it was our survival. But we don't need to think like that anymore. The world is so abundant in every area of your life. Like you can think, like you can decide to know like how abundant this world is. So I would say completely be in an abundance mindset.
I will have those same beliefs around women. Good
Yes,
advice.
there you
Okay,
go.
that's it. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're
That was great.
welcome. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Cheers.